Hi, everybody. Welcome back for some more practice factoring these trinomials. I know they're tough, but we're just going to keep practicing with it. You took a lot of notes last time, but let's just review what you need to do. If you didn't take the notes, you really need to because you can use them to help you on your homework and your tests and quizzes. So basically, when you're going to factor these, there's no GCF. So we know that we're going to be factoring them as two parentheses. Well, we need to figure out what was multiplied to begin with. So just like when you're multiplying two binomials, you use a box, we're going to use a box to help us work backwards. Remember step 1, put your first and last terms in the box. All right, and then we'll multiply them together. So my 3x squared and my negative 48 go there. Then we'll multiply them. Grab your calculator, whether you have it on here or handheld. If you hit clear, nothing happens. So hit second mode, it'll quit you out of there. So we'll do 3 times negative 48. Negative 144. All right, so you can sit and list all the factors of negative 144, like negative 1 times 44, 1 times negative 44. There's all sorts of different ways you can do it. Negative 12 times 12. You're looking for the pair that adds up to a positive 10. Now, I talked to you about this in the last video. I'm going to stress it again this time. You could sit and look for them, but let's use our calculator. If you don't have these steps written down, write them down. So you multiply the first and last, and you get negative 144. Then go to your calculator, y equals. In y1, we're going to do negative 144 divided by x. And then in y2, negative 144 divided by x plus x. So let's take a look. Again, if you want to write that down here, you can. Y equals. In y1, we're going to do negative 144 divided by x. In y2, negative 144 divided by x plus x. You don't have to write that down when you show me, but it's good to have for notes so you know where the heck things came from. And then we're going to hit second graph to go to our table, and you'll see 3 columns. X, Y1, and Y2. What you're looking for is this middle number. I want to scroll down until I see a positive 10. And when I do, those two numbers are what I'm going to put in my other two boxes instead of trying to list them all. All right, so let's go to y equals. I'm going to clear out what's there. Negative 144 divided by x. Negative 144 divided by x plus x. So basically, you're telling the calculator for y2 to add up your two factors. So if you see table up here, it's in blue. We're going to hit second graph to get to the table. So negative 9 times 16, negative 8 times 18. These are all different ways you can multiply to get negative 144. And we're looking for positive 10. You're looking for that middle term. And right here, negative 8 and 18. All right, so those are going to be the two numbers we put in these two boxes. So if you were to combine all these, you would see that you get 3x squared plus 10x minus 48. But remember, we're trying to work backwards. So now just look for the GCF. What goes into 3x and 18x? Well, they're both divisible by 3, and they both have an x. And now it's a puzzle. Figure out what these other things have to be. What would you multiply 3x by to get 3x squared? I need another x there. What would you multiply 3x by to get 18x? 3 times 6, and it's positive, so it's x plus 6. There's your first or your second. It doesn't matter which set of parentheses it goes in. And then finally, what would you multiply x by to get negative 8x? Negative 8. There's your other set of parentheses. And if you check everything, 3x times x, 3x squared. 3x times 6, 18x. Negative 8 times x is negative 8x. Negative 8 times 6 is negative 48. You have all your values there. But again, you could sit and try and figure out what you multiply on your own, but I think it's easier to let the calculator help us. And you might say, well, I'm never going to remember that. You don't need to, because you've got it right here. And the more you practice with it, I had to look at it at first. I used my notes because I just learned this a couple weeks ago, this little shortcut trick. And now I'm to the point that I've done it so many times, I just remember. All right, so next one, we are going to try and figure out what it factors out to. I like it when it starts with just an x squared because there's only one way to multiply to get x squared. So first term, last term. So I'm going to start on my answer already. The only way for us to get x squared is x times x. So now we just have to figure out the numbers. And again, let's go to our calculator. So in y1, I'm going to type in 200, right? Because when I multiply these, I get 200. Positive, so 200 divided by x. In y2, I'm going to do 200 divided by x plus x. Or again, you could sit and list 1 times 200, 2 times 100. Keep listing until you figure out negative 30. That's where it gets complicated because you don't see any negatives right now. All right, so now I'm going to get my table ready. Guess I didn't need to make it that big, but whatever. We're looking for negative 30. All right, so let's go to the calculator. Steps are always the same. Y equals, I'm going to clear those out. 200 divided by x. Y2. 200 divided by x plus x. Second graph to go to the table. Oh, look what just happens to be up there. If you were down here, you'd see positive numbers, right? 201. 1 times 200 would add up to 201. But since I'm looking for a negative, it's probably going to be in the negative numbers. Negative 10 times negative 20 gives you 200, and they also add up to negative 30. There's our two values we need to put in there. All right, and again, now we've got to put those into our table. That would have taken you a while to figure out, I bet. So negative 10x, negative 20x. Let me change the color of this so it's not so bright. All right, so what would you multiply x by to get negative 10x? Negative 10. What would you multiply x by to get negative 20x? Negative 20. And there's your two answers. X minus 10, x minus 20. In the next lesson, I'm going to show you how you can get this with even less work using the calculator when it starts with an x squared like that. All right, let's try one more. So, get it ready. First box, last box, multiply. And if you want to pause at any time to try this on your own, go for it. Remember, hit second mode to get out of there. And it was 3 times 42. Now the day is about to end here, so we're going to hear announcements, and I'll pause the video. 126. Positive. So I'm going to go to y equals. Remember, I'm going to do in y1, I'm going to do 126 divided by x. In y2, I'm going to do 126 divided by x plus x. And then I'm going to go to my table and look for my middle term, which is negative 25. Okay, let's type it in. Y equals, clear, clear. That would take you a while to figure that out. 126 divided by x. 126 divided by x plus x. Second graph. And you should have,
Good
oh,
afternoon,
hold
Science
on.
Homes. There's a science department meeting in room 224 hours for the day.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. So, you should have this written down right here. Y equals the number divided by x, the number divided by x plus x, and then second graph to get you to your table. You don't have to write this down each time here, but for note's sake, it's not a bad idea. All right, so let's take a look. So we already typed it in. We're looking for negative 25 in our table, so second graph. Oh, right there, I just happened to find it, negative 7 and negative 18. If you were looking down in the positives, these would have all been positive. You wouldn't have found it. So you have to scroll up and down with these buttons. But it's right here. Negative 25 would be negative 7 and negative 18. So now take those and put them into your table with an X and find the GCF now. All right, so 3 and 18. 3x goes into both of those. There's always going to be an x here and here. It's just a matter of figuring out where the 3 goes. I'm not putting the 3 up here because 3 doesn't go into 7, but 3 goes into 18. Now that you have that, you can just use your puzzle pieces. 3x times what is negative 18? Negative 6. All right, 1x times what is negative 7x? Negative 7. There's your two answers. So we'll go up top here. Equals x minus 6 times 3x minus 7. And these, by the way, are the trickiest of them that we've been working with to start. So when we get into the ones we're going to talk about in lesson 3, you're going to be like, wow, these are a lot easier. Okay, so there's some practice for you. I would like for you to do on page 4. It's good to get lots of practice in, but I want you to at least do D, E, F, and I want you to do 2A and try B. See if you can try B and see if you can figure that out with two variables. This is going back to GCF. So that's where you find what they have in common, put that up in front, and divide to figure out what goes in here. All right, this is back from lesson 1. All right, so again, give those a try. Have a great day. If you want to do the extras for bonus, not a bad idea. Okay, it's just the box method. First box, last box, multiply. Use those notes in the calculator. All right, have a great day. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call, email, or stop by Math Lab.